What's good? Thank you for stopping by to visit the channel for this upcoming game preview of LSU and Tennessee. If you want to hear a different take of college football from an analytical perspective, if you haven't done so already, please click that subscribe button, click the notification bell, and select all so you don't miss another video. Also, like the video, share the video, it helps this channel grow, and give me your score prediction in the comment section below, even if you agree or disagree. We got this big game in the SEC. Unfortunately, it's not a night game because, well, there is another SEC game that is going to be playing at night as well on CBS, but unfortunately, I'm sure that's not going to deter LSU fans from making a ton of noise because it does get a little loud in Death Valley for sure. So, without further ado, let's get started by looking at the tail of the tape of advanced metrics between the two teams. So as we take a look at the tail of the tape of advanced metrics, if this is your first time viewing this, what I like to do is to give a base point of 5 metrics. And those 5 metrics are F+, SP+, FEI, and offensive SP+, and defensive SP+. Now, the tail of the tape is basically just to give you a general idea of, how these two teams are throughout the year. F+ is a combination of Bill Connolly's SP+ rating and Brian Freeman's FEI. SP Plus is Bill Connolly's tempo and opponent adjusted measure of college football efficiency. FEI is opponent adjusted possession efficiency data. And offensive SP Plus and defensive SP Plus, it is your offensive and defensive specific SP Plus rating. The higher the offensive number, the better. The lower defensive number, the better. So just kind of think of it as points per game if you're looking at offense versus defense. And as we can tell here, this looks like this is going to be a push between both teams, as neither team has an advantage over the other. There's one spot that goes to LSU, which is their offense versus Tennessee's defense, and Tennessee's SP Plus rating is actually higher than LSU's. So it looks like the Vegas odd makers really knew what they were doing here when they generated the spread. It looks like this is LSU's worst game of the season, and if that's the case, if this is going to be the only game that they played terrible in, to be quite honest with you, I think their fans would take it if that's gonna, be the worst game of the year, and they don't have to worry about it anymore. Auburn, in my opinion, dominated, practically the whole game, with the exception of that third quarter. LSU had a 62% success rate to Auburn's 60, but still a 78% success rate and a 60% success rate in the second and third quarters. I mean, Auburn was literally having their way with the LSU defense, and I think it was part because they were a little surprised at Robbie Ashford and his ability to kind of stretch the field on them, running and throwing. But I think once LSU got a bead on what Auburn was doing, they was able to settle in. And then you take a look at that fourth quarter actually, 31% success rate in the fourth quarter. LSU practically shut the water off on them. Once they actually got a read on what he was doing. The thing that concerns me about LSU was the 21% passing success rate. They was able to run the football well enough against Auburn, but the LSU defense at the end of the day, I thought they did their jobs against Auburn. They held them to 2.83 points per scoring chance, and a scoring chance is when you get inside the 40-yard line, and that's really the yard line where you're threatening to score on somebody. And LSU's defense is 4th in the country in points per scoring chance. They allow 3.05 per scoring chance. So essentially, if you get inside the 40, that LSU defense is only going to give up a field goal. So they are one of the nation's best at it, and they're also number 1 in the SEC in red zone defense. So they're going to hang their hat on not allowing you to score once that field gets compressed. And that's exactly what they did in this game to Auburn. Auburn scored only 17 points. If you score only 17 points and you have over 6 scoring chances, you're not going to win too many games, to be quite honest with you. I didn't get a chance to preview this game, but going in, I wasn't expecting Anthony Richardson to do anything remotely close to what he did to the Tennessee defense 2 weeks ago. And I thought about the only way that they would actually have a chance at beating Tennessee was he would have to be superhuman, and he pretty much was in that game. An 88% passing success rate is nothing to sneeze at. That is ungodly, but as crazy as it sounds, it still wasn't enough because Hendon Hooker had a 72% passing success rate. So the Tennessee offense, overall with a 59% success rate, Florida 57% success rate, this was a bombs away, back and forth, haymaker after haymaker type of a game. And man, it was fun to watch. And you thought Tennessee, when they started off as hot as they did, they would usually go cold as they did last year. They didn't do that this time around. This was a testament to what they did in the offseason, all the work that they put in. This is a different Tennessee team from what I'm seeing so far. I still don't think they have fully been tested against a quality offense, and I'm not sure they're going to see that until a certain game next week. Not going to mention who they're playing, but I think they have an idea. I think they know. I'm pretty sure they do. Now, for those of you who are new to the channel, I like to go off of using advanced stats, and these stats are opponent adjusted based on the quality of opponent, and it's go off of offense versus defense. So as we see here, Tennessee has an advantage in 4 out of the 10 categories, as opposed to LSU. LSU has 2 advantages, and the rest are pushes. The Tennessee defense is, a solid unit overall. I think they are a better run defense than they are pass defense, obviously. Tennessee, not very adept at getting to the quarterback on sack rate, 118th in the country. They are 3rd in the country, though, in stuff rate and 14th in the country in defensive line yardage. So their ability to disrupt running games and put you behind the chains is really not something that you can just overlook. They're 8th in the country in rush defense as well. So, that also ties to their stuff rate. So you can essentially see that the defensive line for Tennessee is the strength. The secondary, however, is not. And when you adjust for opponent, they're 52nd in adjusted pass defense. LSU is 31st in adjusted pass offense. They have a lot of weapons. Unfortunately, I don't think they have utilized their weapons to their full potential. Still looking for Kayshon Boutte to get him going. Malik Neighbors is their best guy. Ever since he had that first game against Florida State where he dropped that punt return and, just didn't have a great game overall, man, he has really stepped up and took over. So it's going to be an interesting battle to see if Jayden Daniels is able to take advantage against the Tennessee secondary that, has been much maligned this year. A lot of people think Tennessee is more of a finesse offense, and you see that because you see Hendon Hooker throwing those bombs, being able to scramble and get those first downs. I don't see anything finesse about a team that is in the top 10 in rushing offense. Tennessee, and I think people forget, they use the run to set up a lot of what they do in the past just because of how their offense is utilized. Have a lot of wide splits at wide receiver, and they essentially are really good at counting the box and getting those special matchups that they're looking for. If you're giving them 5 or 6 in a box, they're definitely going to run it. They're definitely going to do they're going to do a good job of counting and see what they have, and then utilize their numbers to their advantage. So, and that's what makes that offense kind of go, especially when you use those wide splits for those wide receivers. The LSU defense, though, however, is not a terrible defense at all. It's a really good defense. It's actually a quality unit, in my opinion. They are really good at getting to the quarterback. 3rd in the country in defensive sack rate. Tennessee, 69th in offensive sack rate. Sometimes Hooker does hold on to the ball just a little bit longer than what he wants to. And against LSU, he's not going to have a lot of time to do that. This front is really disruptive. Defensive line yards, 21st in the country. So if they're able to slow down the Tennessee run game and force them to be one-dimensional, this could actually be a little bit tougher than I think Tennessee fans care to actually admit here. So the computer model in this game has Tennessee favored to win by the score roughly 34.1 to LSU's 30.4. It has a 60.5% win probability. Bill Connolly and his SP Plus metric has Tennessee favored by 2.4 with a 56% win probability. And the Vegas line is still sitting at 3 in favor of the Vols at the time of recording. So we have a field goal spread. LSU is at home and they are the underdog. there is definitely a path for victory here for LSU. In these type of games, you need a turnover, missed field goal, something crazy, something weird that will happen just to kind of turn the outcome of the game. And LSU is one of the best in the country at forcing turnovers and forcing the opposition not to score touchdowns when they get inside the red zone. So they're really adept at that. Tennessee's defense is third in the country in defensive points per scoring chance. So when they get inside the 40 and their backs against the wall, they do an excellent job of turning the offense away and not allowing them to score. Tennessee's defense, they see 45 pass attempts per game. And part of that is due to the fact that, one, the secondary is the weak link, and you're not going to have some success running the football on them. And two, part of that is, they like to get ahead. They were up against Akron and Ball State, whatever. Not really a barometer for success here. I mean, I think my alma mater could probably beat Ball State and Akron, and my alma mater is an FCS school. So with that being said, Kayshon Boutte for LSU, there's an APB out on him. I know he's trying to get rapport with Jayden Daniels, and that trust and that confidence is not there, obviously. But if those two can get going, along with Malik Neighbors, along with Brian Thomas Jr., this could be a problem for Tennessee's secondary. So that's the key for me. If they're able to get that pass game going, this could be a track meet, because Tennessee's going to keep scoring. They're going to force the issue. They like to run a lot of plays. And the thing about LSU's defense, I trust their starting 11, but I don't trust when you have to go outside of that starting 11 on defense. When you go down to player number 13, player number 14, player number 15, 16, 17, all the way down, that depth is questionable. And with Tennessee, they love to run a lot of plays, and when they do, man, you're pretty much at their mercy when you're plugging in guys who don't really know what they're doing on defense. And in a game like this, as much as I do side with the home team when it comes to those single spread games, I'm gonna go with Tennessee against my better judgment here. I think they're gonna have enough to run. I think they're going to run more plays, unfortunately, than what LSU is expecting. LSU's defense is going to be on the field a lot, and against that offense, I don't think that's conducive to have success here. I'm going to pick Tennessee to come out with a victory. It's going to be a tight game, I think, throughout, to the score of 37-31. And with that being said, that's going to be it for this game preview. Let me know what your thoughts are in the game in the comment section below. Give me your score prediction. Tell me why your respective team is going to win the game. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give the video a like. And if you love college football as much as I do, hit that subscribe button if you want to stay updated with the latest previews and the occasional highlights. Thank you for watching, and thank you for visiting the channel.